Hey everybody, this is Johnny. Thank you for coming to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you how easy it is to write a contract up using the Flipster system, all right? Because this is how I do most all my contracts. All right, come over here to properties. This is going to be a shorter video because it doesn't take much. Right? Let's just say you don't have let's say you got a lead from somewhere else, you can actually just go here to create new lead and just type in the address here and it will pop up. That's actually what I did with this one here. So we're just going to go here to go to this one. Okay. As you see here, we got the address here, the owner, you know, you got everything right here. All the equity information, how long they owned it. All right, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to contract, create new agreement. First off, let's go back here to contact. So you can kind of see what's going on here. See the owner's name, okay? That's the owner's name. I'll go ahead and just copy that. All right, go over here to contract. Purchase and sales agreement. If it was through a realtor, you go to agent offer sheet, proof of funds, all that stuff. But I'm just going ahead direct to seller here. And so we're going to go to purchase and sales agreement. 'Cause a lot of times the realtors, you send in the offer, and if they accept the offer, then they'll go ahead and write their own contract up. But it says here, create new agreement. It says select a property and your role. It says I am the buyer in this contract. If we would wholesale it, then we'd go ahead and on the next contract write that we're the seller in the contract. But right here we are the buyer. So it already has your information already written out on there. If you want to use your business name, which I usually always do, and tab, it already pops up. Okay, Mitchell Investment Concepts LLC. Just a basic purchase and sales agreement. It has your information in there, and then it says the seller's name. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and paste that. We don't need the middle initial. And the address is 601. The reason why you got to put it twice is, sometimes the house is vacant and then the address of the property. So you want to go off the mailing address up here, all right, that the name is under. And then down here, it already has, because it's on the property, it already has the address and everything put out for the property. It says property seller hereby agrees to sell, buyer here agrees to buy a real estate property. All right, the purchase price. Go 120,000. Come over here and put 120,000. Earnest money. We put $1,000. To the balance of, if it's 120, 1,000 is going to escrow already for the EMD. It's going to be 119. 119,000 to be paid at close. Yes. And these are little boxes. I mean, all you gotta do is just click on whatever one that you want it to be. So it says financing funds to purchase the property shall be, it's a cash offer. Okay. We have subject to seller financing, traditional financing, but in this case, it's a cash offer. Okay. Inspection period. It just tells you about the inspection period. You don't actually put the inspection period here. I actually use that in the bottom where it says the terms and conditions. So let's go back up here and finish this. Show you how quick it is to do this. I mean, within minutes. All right, cash. Property. So it says here, access the property. Whether it be vacant, if it's vacant, you say if the property is vacant, has the opening, buyer reserves the right to install a lockbox on the property, which will contain a key to the property. Seller acknowledges and agrees that the lockbox will permit access to the property. Seller acknowledges and agrees that there is a risk in having a lock of vandalism resulting. What does it say? A risk in having a lockbox on the property, and that it is possible an unauthorized person may go into the property. Buyer is not insuring seller against theft, loss, or vandalism. This is very important to have right here. Look, buyer. We are the buyer. You are the buyer. Is not insuring seller against theft, loss, or vandalism resulting from an unauthorized access. So yeah, we're going to install a lockbox. They agree to that, but they're also going to agree to that if anything happens to it other than from us, we're not liable. If it's occupied, say if the property is occupied by the seller, tenant, or otherwise as an opening, seller shall permit buyer access within 24 hours notice. You click on whatever. At this point, it's actually occupied. All right. So we come down here. Tenant occupied property is currently in the use of rental property. Tenant shall vacate. So we're going to say here. Now they have it. We can click another box here for if they say they're a renter or say they have a renter in there and this is just a landlord. That we can say that it needs to be vacant property on or before the closing of escrow. When we close on the property, there needs to be vacant. Or we can just click this box here and say, hey, we agree to letting the renter stay there. We're just going to collect the rent from now on. You know, but we're just going to say it needs to be vacant. The escrow agent, this is what I always say. One of buyer's choice. And you want to pick one, obviously, that is investor friendly, wholesale friendly. Maybe they've done a bunch of deals. Maybe that's mainly what they do, but definitely somebody who knows how to work with wholesalers because there's going to be multiple contracts. There's going to be this contract, person sales agreement. Then there's going to be assignment of contract. Okay. And both of those are going to escrow, going to title. And they're going to be different prices. You're going to be this sales agreement for 120 and say the other one's going to be for 140, right? With the other 20 going to you. So let's have one that's investor friendly. All right. It's required of real estate government in the state of whatever state you're in. In this case, it is Florida. The closing date shall occur on or about, and we're going to say, what's it, 315 to April, let's just say April 19th. I just use that there as a date reference. But down in the terms, I'm going to make it say something else. Escrow and closing fees, just saying about the closing fees, with the exception of delinquency, property tax, mortgage liens, mechanics liens, IRS liens, judgments, or any of the liens. So everything is in here. It just tells you what we agree to. We always tell the sellers that we will pay the closing costs. Okay, and that's true. We do. Closing fees due at close of escrow, with the exception of the rest of that stuff. Okay, buyer and sell shall each pay. You can pick one. All right. In the state of, well, if buyer and seller, if you and the seller decide that y'all gonna pay your, half of everything, but for the most part, we go down here to this one. Buyer shall pay all escrow and closing fees. Again, with the exception of any of this stuff. Okay. Come on down. We're almost done with it. Appliances, anything that you want left in the house. At close of escrow, all working appliances currently present in the property shall either not be included in the sale or included in the sale herein. I always say included. You don't need to worry about taking nothing out. with the exception of personal attachment property. That's all I say. You always got to put state here, Florida. Come on down. Okay. Says agency disclosure. Seller acknowledges that the buyer does not hold an active real estate license in the state of whichever state you're in, or does hold an active real estate license. So if you're licensed, put it. If you're not licensed, definitely put it. So let them know that I am not licensed in the state of Florida. Okay. It says here, time is of the essence of this agreement. The time for performance of any obligation or taking any action under this agreement shall be deemed to expire at 5 p.m. This says, you know, you gotta do it for the next day. So if they don't have it done by 5 p.m. the next day, it's in void. Don't worry about, we'll have to write a whole another contract. And when we do that, usually the price has to change. Um, so that just gives them a little bit of insurance, like, hey, they want this house. Let's go ahead and get this done now. All right, we'll put the state that you're in, Florida, back down. Well done here. Governing law of jurisdiction, this agreement shall be governed by and constructed and enforced under the laws of the state you're in. The state of the property, I'm sorry, not the state that you're in. All this is whatever state that the property that you're purchasing is. And the county. Of course, this one here was Orange. Orange. State of Florida. Acceptance of this agreement shall remain in full force and effect until 5 o'clock local time on. You always go to the next day, 3:15. So we'll go 3. Okay. Now, here's where we get to the good stuff. Any other terms and conditions. Now, I like to say inspection will be 30 days. Actually, not 30 days. I'm sorry. 14 days. 14 days. Date for oh, okay. And then I like to add the closing date. Closing date will be 30 days from date contract is signed. Let's see if there's any other terms I need to put in here real quick. I need just want to make sure that everything is different for me depending on how I talk to the sellers and what we agree on. But for the most part, this is always the same. Sometimes the inspection period will change. Sometimes I'm able to get 10. Sometimes I get 30. Just depends on the deal. But closing date, I always try to get it 30 days, and it usually always closes before that. It's just gives everybody more time. All right, got everything done. Now you have to make sure you save this, and you got to save it first. Once it's saved, just come through, look it over, make sure everything's right. Everything is right. Okay. Now you hit next up. It says review the contract. We already reviewed it. The signee name. Who's supposed to sign it out? Okay. Besides us. Okay. It is the owner. Okay. Yes, I have reviewed the document and believe all is to be accurate. Go ahead, submit. It's loading here. All right. As you see everything here. We'll have these little spots here. Just go ahead and hit start. It's going to take you to everything you need. Everything's in. Hit next step. Now all you gotta do is just type your name in. You can pick the font that you want and hit sign. It has the date. I don't know if you can see it right here. This is in the way, but it already has the date down here, in the field for you right there. So come all the way back up. Everything's initialed and signed. And hit finish. And if you want to have a little message like hello, let's say here. Please sign and see the offer agreement in the link below. You don't have to worry about that because it's going to pop up already. Kind regards, put your name. Okay. And you can change whatever you want it to say, but just keep it simple. And go ahead, hit submit. You successfully sent your document to the signee. It's done. They literally will get it in their email. They'll pull it up, their phone, computer, whatever. They'll pull it up. They'll go on the phone or whatever, and they'll do the same thing we just did. They'll hit, and it will automatically just put your initials, your name, whatever, sign it, and hit send, and it will send right back to you, and you'll get it right up in this little mailbox here. You'll click on it, and it'll be right there. It's very simple, very easy. So if you want to try this out, there'll be a link down in the description. You can get Flipster. You can sign up today. I think there's like a 7-day free trial. Just hit the link below and get it, and it'll take you right to where you need to be. And I'm serious. Like, this is what I do. This is what I use. I enjoy it. I use a lot of other things. And every platform that I have had this place in my business. But anyway, this is great for doing contracts and everything else that you need to do. So there's going to be a link. And if this video was helpful and everything like that, if you have any comments, go ahead and leave it below. But don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, happy hunting.